Hello guys, your crazy coach lady Amanda Trombley, and this is our final concept to creating a wealthy mindset and stepping into and sustaining emotional freedom in our life. We've done some serious work so far simply by opening up our mind and expanding our lives, and today is the day that we're going to talk about actually stepping in to living that soulFIRE life. And so when it comes to this concept, I really struggled with this concept as far as how do I put into words this final concept? And of course create a fun tagline to go along with it. Really, what is this final concept that I've been naturally doing, that I've been naturally teaching people to do, that actually takes us to going fully from our struggle and creating something new to actually being able to live in this new right here and now? And so what I've settled on, what I'm excited about, what we're going to talk about today is exactly what it takes to create a soulFIRE lifestyle, a lifestyle that ultimately you've craved from the beginning. Because again, all of us want to feel good. All of us want to feel super duper good. We want to love our lives. We want to enjoy our lives. And in order to do that, we have to actually be living a soulFIRE life, a life that is led not by what our financial circumstances allow us to live, not by what our emotional circumstances allow us to live, not by what the choices in our past have put us to and that has caused us to live, but a life that is actually aligned with the way that our soul desires to feel, with the way that our soul desires to be. And so soulFIRE living is all about taking these action steps and creating this boldness in our lives. It's about taking these leaps and taking these fearless action steps. And the really great thing about soulFIRE living is we don't have to start with these huge things. It doesn't have to mean that we're going to go and buy the house of our dreams when we totally can't afford it, because what would that do but repeat the same old cycle? But taking the leaps in our lives, taking this fearless action means taking the small actions that can allow us to step into this soulFIRE living today, right now. And one of the ways that we can do that is so many of the ways that we can do that are in super duper simple methods. One way that I stepped into living a soulFIRE life is dressing the way that I wanted to. Putting aside that I was too big or too curvy to dress this way, ending the comparison syndrome every time I went to Rue 21 and never fit into anything, ending this comparison syndrome with everybody around me that I would see, and stepping into this aspect of just dressing the way that I wanted to, not being so shamed by the cultural pressures, and actually putting in and dressing the way that I want to. Feeling like a badass. If I want to feel like a badass, I gotta dress like a badass. I gotta show up and own that part. And so a super simple, fearful action that I took, but because I took it became fearless action, was beginning to dress the way that I wanted to create a life for me that was based on my soul. And this seems like such a stupid and simple concept, but when we get up in the morning and we want to feel good and we want to look good and we want to be good and we want to feel confident and secure, and then we throw on clothes just to cover up and just to hide who we are, we're actually dumbing out that spirit. We're numbing out that spirit. We're pushing it down. We're pushing down the soul that is calling out to us, that is crying out to us. And we're pushing it down because of the pressures, because of the culturalism, because of the social because of the struggle. We're numbing down our soul. And so a super duper easy way to take this soulFIRE action and begin to create the soulFIRE life is to dress the way you want to. It's also to decorate the way you want to. It's to speak the way you want to. It's to participate in that fitness program that you really want to. It's about deleting all the shit on your Facebook that you don't want to see anymore and stepping into shit that you do want to see. It's all these small, tiny actions that help our soul go, yes, that's what I want to see. That's what I want to feel. That's how I want to be. That's how I want to behave. That's how I want to become aligned. Taking these leaps and taking these fearless action steps come from the simplest of measures and build into those bigger measures. But when we start small, we get to follow along with the cycle that we've been creating so far. We get to stay in the natural propulsion. We get to stay in the momentum. We get to continue to build and create evolution by taking these small fearless action steps. It is all about saying yes. saying yes to yourself and saying yes to your desires. It's about taking those action steps that put your soul on fire and allow you to continue to live in a way where every day your soul is saying yes, 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 yes. It includes setting boundaries and changing the relationships in your life. It means saying no just as much as it means saying yes, because sometimes what our soul is crying out for us to do is to say, hello, could you just say no for one time, because I can't take anymore, because I am too busy, because I don't have enough time to rest. So it means saying yes, but it also means saying no and realigning our relationships with ourselves and the world to boundaries that allow our soul to fruition, to rest, to reset, to live without being so constricted to timelines, to guides, to pressures, so on and so forth. The second part of soulfire living that is so super duper important, that requires you to take action, which I talk about in every single program because it's so important, is the 3 Ps. The 3 Ps in your life. You must, if you are going to be living a soulfire life, if you want to build a wealthy mindset, if you want to create and sustain emotional freedom, you must be saying yes to the 3 Ps. The 3 Ps that I believe are so super duper important that as adults we just totally forgot about is pleasure, passion, and play. We forgot about these things in life. We got so focused on building our careers, completing our education, raising our families, and doing everything right that we forgot to actually build a life full of pleasure. We forgot to actually step aside and have some playtime. We forgot to actually do things that we are really passionate about. And so we need to say yes to the 3 Ps in our lives. We need to get specific on the areas that we have let go of the pleasure, the passion, and the play in our lives. And we need to begin to take actions to create this. We need to get our feet wet. We need to run in the sprinklers and dance in the rain. We need to have really pleasurable and meaning conversations and relationships in our lives. And we need to find something that we are so super duper passionate about, we can't stop talking about. All of this pushes us, of course, into further alignment with our soul's desire. It allows us to begin to live without the struggle. It allows us to continue to live without the struggle. And it allows us to push further alignment, which means more growth, more evolution for us. It also requires us to begin to have this commitment to ourselves while staying true to selfless living. It requires us to be committed to ourselves. Any sort of personal development, any sort of emotional growth demands us to be committed to ourselves, demands us to set aside the time to rest. It demands us to set these boundaries. It demands us to say no and to say yes. It demands us to be committed to us first and foremost. Now, that doesn't mean that you work on yourself and you ignore your children and you let your marriage go to the wayside, but it does mean that you stop making excuses over your life as to why you don't have the time, attention, energy, capability, so on and so forth. So this further realignment, this soulfire living demands us to be committed to self. But along with that, it also demands us to begin to live a selfless life, which means saying yes in the areas that we can, beginning to help in the areas that we can, beginning to step away from our selfish nature of I'm having a conversation, I don't want to do that, or I'm too busy to volunteer, or I don't have the money to help out, and begin to step into this aspect of living selfless, when the great thing about living selfless is it begins to connect us more and more to the universe. Now, this doesn't mean sacrificing your own time, sacrificing your own commitment in order to be selfless, but this does mean putting a focus on connecting more to the needs of others, connecting more to living in a way, in the smallest of ways, stopping your conversation and helping that lady open the door, However, what is that allows us to connect to the greater purpose of our lives. When we do this, this puts us in a total universal connection that allows us to step into a lifestyle of living that demands trust, security, and power. It allows us to feel the trust in ourselves and the trust in the universe to guide us. It allows us to step into our own security and the security of our place in our world, and it ultimately propels us to live a powerful, driven life full of love, passion, and total power. And when we do this, our lives become complete. The life that I am living today, I can't give you a specific example, because the beautiful part of these three concepts is that they just naturally build. And as you begin with one step, you're propelled to the next step. As you begin to release, realize, and realign, when you begin to embrace, evolve, and transcend, you come to this soulfire living where your entire life is undone and become. It is completely undone, and you completely become the equivalent of your desires. You create and you sustain an emotional freedom. And because you are living in a wealthy mindset, you are constantly growing, you are constantly building, and you are constantly recycling through this evolutionary, amazing process that can take any part of your life from stuck and stressed to so simply blessed. And that is ultimately what I want for you guys here. I want you to ask yourself, what scary leaps do I have to take? What small actions can I take? How am I not living committed to self versus how do I need to live committed to myself? How can I open up to taking this commitment and allowing a selfless life along this so that I can build the trust, security, power, passion, and love that my life is calling me to? You guys, this is so super exciting and so super cool. And this is all I have for you, because this is all I've done. Within all of this, there's so many other small steps. But this is the key. This is the transitioning point. This is what it takes. This is all it takes to get you from where you are now to exactly where you want to be. This is all it takes to build a wealthy mindset and step into creating and sustaining emotional freedom. And the work is super simple, and it doesn't have to start with changing your whole life today. It starts with changing one thing today and allowing that to create an evolution of your life. So stand up confidently and begin to create that soulfire living by living these three concepts and moving into the desire of your dreams. You guys, post your thoughts below, answer your questions, share with us, and let's band together as we create a group of women that are beginning to live soulfire lives while creating and sustaining emotional freedom and staying continuously attached to such a wealthy and powerful mindset. That's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for spending time, and we will see you next time.